Chapter 51. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man raged, storming off. Domain expansion, demon-suppressing chef. Swish, swish, swish. Ding. Host, congratulations. 50,000 points of billion-level bounty successfully infused. Domain, demon-suppressing chef upgraded to LV4. Ding. Host, congratulations. Sure you been slain. 600 points of ordinary bounty acquired. Ding. Host, congratulations. Lien Shishing slain. 400 points of ordinary bounty acquired. Ding. Host, congratulations. Dajier slain. 10,000 points of billion-level bounty acquired. Ding. Host, congratulations, the chimes of fate echoed in Kurosawa's mind. All that brief restraint was totally worth it. Whitebeard's devastating blows sent ice, gravel, shattered iron, severed limbs, and every other kind of battlefield debris flying in all directions, all vibrating violently. The sheer force of the shockwaves was lethal, completely obscuring the battlefield. Only someone with top-tier observation Hawkeye could possibly perceive the subtle shifts in the battlefield amidst that level of energy. But no one that strong could spare the focus to track Kurosawa, who was moving like a phantom. The upgraded LV4 domain, demon-suppressing chef generated an invisible, boundless domain centered on Kurosawa, and blessed by his natural fighting instincts. The bone shrine that usually materialized after the domain, demon-suppressing chef was cast wasn't needed, greatly increasing the secrecy of Kurosawa's actions. Otherwise, even in this chaos, moving at high speed with a massive bone shrine would definitely draw unwanted attention. Shwa shwa shwa, that every pirate Kurosawa passed was instantly sprayed with blood. Blood gushed out around him, a human-shaped meat grinder. A bloody mist exploded everywhere, painting a truly blood-stained battlefield. Blessed by his natural fighting instincts, Kurosawa's slashes controlled the area perfectly, never accidentally striking the Navy soldiers, never wasting power on the ice and ground. And with the enhanced perception of his 6 eyes, he precisely controlled the power of each strike, killing each pirate efficiently. The curse power was perfectly utilized, nothing was wasted. In just a few breaths, Kurosawa's ordinary bounty value had skyrocketed to 8,600 points. Boom! Whitebeard's shockwaves were overwhelming. Mihawk was too far away and swallowed by the energy before he could even see Kurosawa's actions. The other powerhouses were in the same boat. When the energy waves hit, they focused on defending themselves, leaving no time to pay attention to anything else. The earth and ice shattered, with bottomless cracks spreading across the entire battlefield. On the execution platform, Sengoku's body radiated golden Buddha light, completely neutralizing the waves reaching the platform, but his face was twisted with fury. While the attack covered a huge area, Sengoku saw how Whitebeard aimed it, hitting mostly Navy soldiers. The pirates up front were caught in the crossfire, but the Navy took the brunt of it. Damn Whitebeard! Whitebeard looked a little weary after the attack. The sudden energy drain left him feeling weak, but the attack's impact was undeniable. Whitebeard grinned. The Navy's hard-won defenses were gone, even the red magma that had surrounded him earlier had vanished. He won this round. Deep within the Earth's cracks, Akainu's body transformed into magma. He used his elemental powers and Hawkeye to defend himself, but was now in a daze. Crack. On the ice, Akiji's body reformed. He looked fine, just a little dirty. Buzz. A figure emitting golden light materialized in the sky, his clothes as neat as ever. Kizaru's mouth formed an O. Whoa, that was scary. Whitebeard, huh? Kizaru was the least affected. Thanks to the power of his glint fruit, he could flee the battlefield at the speed of light. Suddenly, he noticed something. In the chaotic battlefield, a Navy soldier was cutting down pirates left and right, heading straight for the commanders. Kurosawa-kun, you're a riot. Flying close to the ground on the broken ice, Kurosawa killed every pirate he could reach. Ordinary bounty value, 24,200 points. Billion-level bounty value, 45,400 points. For pirates with bounties over 100 million. Kurosawa thought. Only the strong dared to charge ahead. They just had the misfortune to run into him, after all. Who would expect anyone short of an admiral to be able to pull off kills like this right now? Everyone else was busy withstanding the monstrous vibrations. Phew. Is everyone okay? In the ruins, Marco breathed heavily, flapping his wings to shake off the debris. His undying flame powers kept him in good shape, but he'd spent a lot of stamina fighting an admiral. Vista stood up nearby, bracing himself, also a bit worn down. The swirling rose petal sword energy faded, and Vista grinned at the wrecked battlefield. We're fine, but the Navy's probably hurting. Pops really did a number on them. Curiel, commander of the 10th Division who fought against 2 admirals, smiled slightly. Yeah, Pops is the strongest. Curiel, with his watermelon cap and purple shades, could back up Marco with his cannons. Just then, Jozu climbed up from the ice, panting. Damn Navy, now it's our turn to hit back. The commanders were obviously not at their best after the attack. Blamenko, the 9th Division commander, carried his sword over his shoulder, chest heaving. Curiel, your aim's not bad. Thanks for the cover. Curiel grinned. Marco was about to speak, but then his expression changed abruptly. Vista and Jozu also sensed something was wrong. A chilling presence crept in. The 6 commanders felt like they'd plunged into hell. Endless indifference and bloodshed threatened to swallow them whole, freezing their blood. In the smoke, a blue glint shone from the darkness. The next moment, before the commander's horrified eyes, a crack appeared on Marco's face. Readers, please give me some free votes. Please leave reviews to encourage the author. Thank you. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The battle was over. Marco. Captain Marco, the captains shouted, fear in their voices, as a figure emerged from the smoke and dust. Haze walked slowly, the famous sword in his hand, radiating an unnerving aura. He looked like a messenger from hell. Sizzle, star, immortal flames healed the slash on Marco's face, but the pain seared itself into his memory. Cold sweat trickled down Marco's back. It's that kid. Marco stared at Kurosawa, his face grim, fear in his eyes. What's going on? This kid's moves. What was that slash? I couldn't even see it. Relieved to see Marco was alright, the other captains stared at Kurosawa, shock bubbling up within them. How did you get here? Vista's eyes narrowed. The clash of his swords produced a fiery breath. In a flash, he lunged, blazing sword energy erupting in sparks, aimed at Kurosawa. Rose will dance. The powerful sword instantly charged the battlefield. The broken ice melted beneath the fiery blade, and the roses seemed even more vibrant. Contact would mean instant, fatal damage. The other 3 captains, except Marco and Jaws, were surprised. Flower sword's already pulling out a heavy hitter. He's seriously pissed. Marco's eyes locked on Kurosawa, observation Hawkeye activated, determined to capture every move. Based on what he'd seen, this Marine couldn't be taken lightly. Vista was right to use a powerful sword skill right out of the gate. Jaws sneered. Kurosawa was strong, sure, but not strong enough to withstand Flower Sword Vista's fire slash. That kind of damage could destroy a warship. Kurosawa kept walking towards Vista. After entering the demon-subduing chef's range, he had tried a phase slash on Marco, but it wasn't enough. Even at level 4, the demon-subduing chef couldn't deliver the curse power needed to take him down. To deal with Marco, he needed to focus on reducing the healing effect of the Curse King, the fruit ability user with specialized healing powers. But since Marco couldn't be killed instantly, he'd start with the others. With so many captains around, he had to make sure he wasn't swarmed, otherwise, he'd be trapped in an endless attack rhythm. Anyone who's ever jungled knows that once you fall into that rhythm, you're dead. So, Kurosawa looked up, his blue eyes gleaming. He raised a hand, an immense curse power mixed with armament Hawkeye coalesced into a huge blue light ball, which he hurled in Vista's path. Curse move, Azure, that the terrifying gravity generated by Azure swept up water, ice, everything into a spiral, slowing Vista down. Kurosawa smirked and vanished. What? Blenheim was shocked. That speed, Khalil also lost sight of Kurosawa. For a gunner, losing sight of your target is about as bad as it gets. Another captain, who had been intercepting the admiral, Brayman K., captain of the 6th Division, pulled his favorite wooden mallet from his pocket, his face serious. Kurosawa reappeared above them, red and blue lights flashing around him. The fluctuations, combined with the oppression of the demon-subduing chef, made him look like a judge deciding who lives and dies, like he was waiting for Kurosawa alone to wipe them out. Marco recalled the torture of that void-style, violet move, more painful than death, red and blue lights. Could it be that move? Marco shouted, "Jaws! Stop him!" Got it, that the captains worked seamlessly. Almost before Marco finished speaking, Jaws launched himself towards Kurosawa like a cannonball. Kurosawa's expression was calm. Jaws was fast, sure, but not fast enough to outpace Kurosawa's predictions. With his 6 eyes perception and natural fighting instincts, Kurosawa was in control. Got him, that the captains were sure Jaws would connect, but then, whoosh, Kurosawa vanished again, Jaws' attack missing completely. Enraged, Jaws, lacking Kurosawa's teleportation ability, sailed off the battlefield, one less to worry about. Marco was confused. How could this guy move so fast, continuously? And that red and blue light? Didn't that need to charge? How could he just stop it and vanish? It made no sense. Marco didn't know that Kurosawa had no intention of using void style, and mobilizing his curse power was just to bait Jaws. Kurosawa reappeared a few feet behind Marco, a slight smile on his face. At this distance, Marco couldn't land a clean kick on Kurosawa right away. Still reeling, Marco sensed the presence and killing intent behind him. His feet transformed into phoenix claws, and he kicked back, his palm coated in advanced armament hockey. "You want to kill me that bad? You think I'm some chump?" Green and yellow flames blazed in Kurosawa's eyes. At this range, Kurosawa had enough power to use sword flow, azure, and flash to their fullest potential. Before rushing into the middle of the captains, Kurosawa had spent 3,000 ordinary bounty points to upgrade sword flow, azure, and flash to level 3, and 20,000 billion level bounty points to upgrade his physical skills and armament hockey to level 5. He also put 16,000 ordinary bounty points and 20,000 billion level bounty points into upgrading his reversal and unlimited techniques to level 5. Clang! That the dark red blade and the blue flame claws collided, the terrifying hockey and sharp blade fracturing the ice. Kurosawa's power shocked Marco. It was only a hasty kick, but it should have been enough to crush most opponents. But Kurosawa was holding his ground. "Captain Marco, we're here to help." That the other 3 captains seized their chance. Blenheim, wielding a machete, and Brayman K., swinging his hammer, charged at Kurosawa. Khalil, the artillery expert, loaded and aimed his guns, ready to fire the hockey-infused bullets he had prepped. Marco grinned triumphantly. "Kid, you've got potential, but trying to take me down to make a name for yourself? That's the dumbest thing you could have done." That the blue flame claws dug in, gradually pushing Kurosawa back while locking his sword in place. "Time to pay for your arrogance." But Kurosawa didn't look panicked. An ominous feeling crept into Marco's mind. "No, don't come closer," Marco shouted. Kurosawa smiled. "Too late, swish. Swish. Swish, Khalil's body erupted in bloodstains. Chapter 53. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The gunshot cracked, spitting fire. Ka. In a heartbeat, 100 invisible blades tore into Khalil. Blood exploded across his body, and darkness swallowed his sight. The finger that pulled the trigger shattered, the unseen cuts lashed him from every angle, leaving no escape. His goofy watermelon hat disintegrated, and his purple sunglasses burst into shrapnel. Just moments ago, he'd been patting himself on the back for hoarding those overpowered bullets. Now, he wouldn't even get a chance to use them. "You son of a bitch," Marco snarled, his face a mask of rage. Veins bulged across his body, and his ragged breathing betrayed his fury. Blenheim and Bremank, charging forward, sensed something was wrong. They glanced back to see their comrade, alive just seconds before, transformed into a bloody mess. Khalil. Who did that? Seeing Marco's rage, a horrifying thought dawned on Blenheim and Bremaink. Could Kurosawa, the Marine, be responsible? Impossible. They'd been watching him. Khalil was in the safest spot. How could Kurosawa slip past them, attacking Khalil while fighting Marco? Marco, though consumed by rage, quickly pieced it together. It was that move, that initial, invisible cut that grazed his face, that had to be it. If not for his immortal flame regeneration, he'd be dead. The other captains fixed their gazes on Kurosawa. His teeth gleamed white, but his smile was chilling. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing Khalil. Obtained 55,000 points of 100 million level bounty value. Ding. Congratulations to the host for achieving the unlocking conditions of the stage achievement reward, The Fall of the Whitebeard Captains, March 15th. Reward, 100 million level bounty value plus 10,000 points. Oh. A pleasant surprise. Kurosawa's smile widened. From the moment he stepped into the captain's range, his domain, the demon-subduing chef, had been active. Unlike Lao Noa, Kurosawa controlled the slashes, choosing the target's size and power output with precision. Maintaining the domain drained his energy, but the results were worth it. He'd killed a captain without Hawkeye protection in under a second, all while under the pressure of Marco and the others. Khalil hadn't even registered the pain before the demon-subduing chef obliterated him. You two, fall back. I'll handle him, Marco roared. The immortal flames around him intensified, and Hawkeye crackled around his claws. His attacks are too unpredictable. Reinforce your vital spots with Hawkeye. A chilling realization struck Marco. He frantically warned them, but it was too late. Blenheim and Bremaink immediately coated themselves in armament Hawkeye, but the demon-subduing chef's slashes were faster. Within the domain, the cuts landed the instant Kurosawa willed it. Swish, a red line appeared on Blenheim's neck, quickly widening. Blood gushed out, his vision swam. Channeling Hawkeye took time, and the hastily gathered defense was no match for the demon-subduing chef's cursed power. With the defense breached, Kurosawa unleashed even more power. The blood spraying from Blenheim's neck traced the outline of an invisible blade. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing Blenheim. Obtained a bounty value of 56,500 billion points. Billion level bounty value, 126,900 points. This is, the sweet taste of fate. Hearing the welcome sound in his head, Kurosawa grinned. His bounty was skyrocketing. Finally, he could level up. Boom! Across the battlefield, the aftershocks of Whitebeard's earth-shattering attack finally subsided. Action resumed. You bastard! You'll pay! A shriek cut through the momentary quiet. Marines and pirates alike turned, confused. The sound came from Kurosawa's direction. Everyone stared. A massive bird wreathed in blue flames spun wildly, its terrifying strength and Hawkeye generating a vortex of searing blue. And within that inferno, Kurosawa stood motionless. It's Kurosawa. What's he doing there? As the Marines cried out, a flurry of rose-petal sword strikes slashed toward Kurosawa. It's Flower Sword Vista. And Phoenix Marco. How can Kurosawa face both of those powerhouses at once? At the center of the battlefield, amidst countless cracks in the ground, a hulking figure stood, gripping a massive blade. It was clear to anyone who saw him, this man was the cause of the devastation, but the arrogant Sea King's smile froze as his gaze landed on a specific spot. Though Khalil and Blenheim were unrecognizable beneath the blood, Whitebeard could still identify them. Seeing the smile on Kurosawa's face, the air around Whitebeard turned icy. The Den Mushy broadcast flickered back to life. The carnage on the Marineford battlefield was once again broadcast to the world in real time. Chapter 54. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chaos reigned on both sides of the river. Kurosawa. What's he doing there? On the execution platform, Sengoku's face darkened as he took in the scene. Even admirals had to tread carefully when facing a full-scale assault from two captains. Guys at Marco and Vista's level could smash a warship to bits without breaking a sweat. One wrong move, and even the toughest armored Hawkeye wouldn't be enough to stop them. Sengoku had staked his reputation as fleet admiral, and the entire navy's prestige, on Kurosawa. If those captains got their hands on him, the immediate impact would be devastating. Losing Kurosawa would crush the navy's morale, erasing all the hard-won advantages in this war, and in the long run, it would be a huge blow to the navy's future, a loss Sengoku couldn't afford. "Don't give up now, kid," Sengoku muttered through gritted teeth. The pacifistas would be joining the fight in a minute, and the pirates would be reeling from the heaviest blow of the war. If Kurosawa could just hang on for another minute, Sengoku was confident they could win this war. Ace, kneeling nearby, was just as confused. Why were Marco and Vista suddenly ganging up on Kurosawa after his father's move? Like Ace, most of the people on the battlefield didn't realize Kurosawa had just taken out two Whitebeard pirates under the cover of Whitebeard's attack, but Ace was sure of one thing: Marco and Vista were pulling out all the stops. Facing their combined attack, even he wouldn't stand a chance in his prime. Even if Kurosawa had managed that amazing attack and injured Whitebeard earlier, he couldn't pull off another one like that. The cost would be too great, so, that Navy colonel was a goner. Why is Kurosawa even there? Commander-in-Chief, Fire Fist shook the dust off his hat, while keeping an eye on Lakio in the distance. He was both worried and pissed. If Whitebeard's attack hadn't thrown the entire battlefield into chaos, he could have helped his most promising trainee. Even though Kurosawa had only joined his training camp halfway through, he was still the top candidate in his number 2 camp. "Kurosawa, you can't die here. I'll never be able to face them again," thought, especially with Gion's instructions to watch over Kurosawa fresh in his mind. If something happened to him, he'd never hear the end of it. Miguel, half crouched on the ground, his left arm bloody and several wounds oozing, didn't look scared. He looked proud, his eyes burning as he stared at the dark-haired figure. "Boss, I can't let our training camp down." "You're not going down before I do." In the smoke and dust, a figure clenched his fists. Kurosawa. Garp's sense of justice and his family ties were at war, but he'd still chosen to fight. Guarding the execution platform and preventing anyone from crossing it was the most he could do, but he wasn't about to let the Navy's future be destroyed so easily on this battlefield. "Why do you have to be so reckless? That's no place for you." Veins bulged on Garp's forehead. After a fierce internal battle, he made up his mind. "Kid, you're staying in the Navy after this." "Heh. What's that idiot doing? Is he trying to get himself killed? He just ran into another captain-level guy, and now he's facing two at once." Mariah smirked as he watched the terrifying blue flame tornado. "Even I couldn't handle that." "Go to hell, Kurosawa. Hopefully there'll be enough left for me to turn into a zombie soldier. I'll make him wash my feet, hee hee." Doflamingo adjusted the feather coat on his shoulders, a glint in his eye. "Fufufu. Kurosawa, think you can handle this? Is that fake gonna die?" Boa Hancock frowned. She had wanted Kurosawa dead a moment ago, but after being humiliated, she had to reevaluate. "If you're going to die, it should be at my feet. That young naval genius, he can't die here." Kuma analyzed the battlefield, vanishing in a flash. Mihawk's protective sword energy disappeared, and he looked at Kurosawa with a frown. "Whitebeard's captains, ganging up on a rookie in front of me, how pathetic, buzz buzz buzz, star. Yasukani no Magatama." Borsalino's body dissolved into golden light in the sky. Meanwhile, around the world. "What's going on? Why isn't the Den Mushi fixed yet? Has something happened on the battlefield? Look! The broadcast is back on. Wait, what's going on? Why is the ground and ice cracked like that? Idiot, that's not the point. Look at that blue flame tornado and that sword energy. It's Whitebeard's captains Marco and Vista. They're attacking Kurosawa together." "What? Two captains are teaming up against a navy up in Comer. That's messed up. You're an idiot. There's no such thing as fair in war. On the giant mangrove tree in the Sabaody archipelago, Rayleigh adjusted his glasses, studying the horrifying blue flame tornado on the screen. With his knowledge and experience, he could tell it was a devastating attack, requiring a perfect blend of martial arts and hockey. Little Marco's all grown up. Rayleigh exclaimed. The Marco he could once stop with a flick of his finger was long gone. If they fought again, he'd have to give it everything he had. But what surprised Rayleigh even more was that Marco and Vista were actually teaming up to take down Kurosawa. For proud captain-level fighters, even within the same crew, ganging up on an enemy was rare. The tyrant Bartholomew Kuma is heading towards Kurosawa. Look! Admiral Kizaru is moving. Whitebeard. He's making a move too. Hold up. What's happening to Kurosawa? Back on the battlefield in Marineford, Kurosawa stared at the two figures approaching rapidly, unfazed. System, give me some points, ding. Congratulations to the host. Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The execution was a joke, pointless. On the platform, Sengoku, watching Whitebeard, suddenly paled and cursed. Whitebeard, you son of a bitch, Ace yelled, Dad. A majestic black figure zipped across the battlefield, faster than Kurosawa's level 3 Six-Eye teleport. But Bartholomew Kuma, moving at top speed, was stopped cold by someone. His mechanical eyes scanned. Warning! Warning! Super dangerous individual, Edward Newgate, detected. Initiate highest level protocol. Asterisk bang. Crack, star, white energy enveloped Whitebeard's fist as he slammed it into Kuma's forehead. The force of the quake instantly cracked the air, asterisk this speed, star, Kuma barely had time to think before his vision blurred, asterisk boom, star, the shockwave shattered even more ice. The impact sent Kuma, who'd been there to back up Kurosawa, flying, one of the 7 warlords, knocked away with one punch. Whitebeard didn't pause. Turning to face the golden light in the sky, his eyes blazed with terrifying brilliance, radiating the aura of a monster. Navy soldiers instinctively flinched, avoiding his gaze, as if looking meant certain death, asterisk whoosh, star. Asterisk boom, asterisk with a rush of vibration and his superhuman skill, Whitebeard, his body half broken, turned into a white blur. In an explosion of speed, he overtook Borsellino, who was already using the 8-foot mirror. He stopped right in front of Borsellino. The golden figure sensed him with observation hockey, but even Borsellino was shocked by Whitebeard's sudden speed. Whoa there, still, Borsellino was an admiral. Despite being caught off guard, he instantly formed the Aim no Murakumo sword. The next instant, the vibrating Murakumogiri, crackling with hockey, slashed out, asterisk buzz. Clang. Crack, star, space warped and shattered. The golden figure distorted under the force. Boom, the resulting shockwave became a massive vortex, sending Borsellino tumbling, leaving Whitebeard standing tall. Ace stared, speechless, finally managing, Dad. Sengoku's brow twitched. Faster than Kizaru. Unbelievable. Whitebeard. Everyone watched in disbelief. One punch to a warlord, one sword to an admiral. Is this the world's strongest man? Rayleigh recalled Whitebeard's battles with Roger, thinking of their peak. He can still burst out with that speed, to keep the Navy from rescuing Kurosawa. Whitebeard said nothing, but the fury in his eyes was clear. Don't ask why he didn't just attack Kurosawa directly. This was the pride of a king, the faith in his sons. Whitebeard's eyes swept to Kurosawa, expecting him to, asterisk boom, asterisk, half a second earlier, ding. Congratulations. 50,000 trillion level bounty value successfully injected. Six Eyes upgraded to LV4. Ding. Congratulations. New holo technique unlocked, Chi. An intense cold light exploded in Kurosawa's blue eyes. The upgraded level 4 Six Eyes had perception rivaling future seeing observation hockey. His control of cursed energy and Hawkeye improved drastically. He reached a new level. If Kurosawa previously relied on natural fighter for near-perfect control, now, even without it, his skill application was at its peak. Of course, natural fighter still boosted his techniques. Technique, blue. Technique, red. Kurosawa grinned. 2 energy balls, 1 blue, 1 red, appeared instantly. Marco gasped. That move. It has to be Vista. Already at his limit, Marco forced his power even higher. Vista felt his swords tremble. The overloaded attack exceeded his Hawkeye's limit, risking serious damage, but he couldn't worry about that now. The purple energy from colliding blue and red lights crushed everything, creating a dark tunnel that had even hurt the old man. If Kurosawa used that, it might withstand their combined attack. We can't let that happen. His move takes too long. There's still time. But Marco and Vista froze. Instead of combining the balls as they'd expected, the two collided the moment they appeared, forming a galaxy of surging, spiraling purple light. Is he trying to take us down with him? Vista wondered. Isn't he afraid of getting caught in the blast? But I have the Phoenix Flame, I can't die. Marco thought. Both wanted to know what Kurosawa was thinking, but all they saw was his wild grin, reflected in the purple light, etched in their minds like an evil mark. Crazy and unforgettable, Kurosawa whispered. Unlimited hollow technique, purple. Purple light exploded across the battlefield, engulfing Marco and Vista. The dark cursed energy, after collision and superposition, created a fictional mass with ultimate destructive force, like the mother of all destruction exploding again in Marineford. Boom, ding. Congratulations to the host for the first. Thanks for reading. Please leave a review. And give me some free gifts. The author thanks you. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The enemy forces were a complete mess. Boom. The shocking purple blast engulfed Marco and Vista, drawing everyone's attention on the battlefield. What the heck? What is that? Kurosawa did that? Damn Navy. They just killed Captain Marco and Captain Vista. That was a suicide attack. Kurosawa didn't win any glory there. The intense purple light exploded with such force that it instantly melted ice and rock, showcasing its terrifying destructive power. Bermank, who barely escaped, stared in disbelief. He'd just seen a high-quality blade turn into scrap metal the moment the purple energy touched it. Marco and Vista should be okay, right? That kid. Jaws, climbing out of a crater in the distance, sized up the scene. With his tough defense, he knew how to judge damage. Even with my armament Hawkeye at full power, I couldn't withstand that attack. I'd have to go full-on diamond. Up on the execution platform, Sengoku yelled, "Damn it, Whitebeard Pirates." In his mind, killing Marco and Vista was a decent win, but Kurosawa's unlimited potential was way more valuable. Letting him thrive was the best thing for the Navy. Ace, kneeling nearby, looked furious. He can fight Marco and Vista like that? But he's got to be alive. Garp, face grim, clenched his fists, not understanding. Kurosawa's weakness was supposed to be hand-to-hand combat. Why take such a suicidal gamble? Mihawk frowned, watching the fading purple light with his hawk-like eyes. Is that all you've got, Kurosawa? Heh heh heh. That little bastard Kurosawa is finally dead. Looks like there won't even be a body left. Moria spread his arms, licking his lips with a blood-red tongue. Too bad I can't turn you into a zombie. Fo. Interesting. Doflamingo, hands in his pockets, glanced at Moria under his pink sunglasses with a smirk. His invisible strings, controlled by his string fruit power, quietly surrounded Moria, who was completely oblivious. Dead? Good riddance, Boa Hancock said with a smug look. Luffy is definitely the most special man. Around the world, people watching the live broadcasts were buzzing. Is he really dead? Even if he is, taking down 2 Whitebeard commanders is a huge victory. On the Sabaody archipelago, Rayleigh narrowed his eyes. His gut told him Kurosawa wasn't that reckless. Even though things looked dire, it shouldn't have been a completely hopeless situation. This new era navy, what are you? Rayleigh's eyes widened as he stared at the screen, a look of disbelief on his face. Back on the battlefield at Marineford, the dazzling purple light finally faded. Ding. Congratulations. You've used unlimited hollow purple for the first time. Reward, 8-handled sword Divergent Sila Divine General, LV3. The 8-handled sword Divergent Sila Divine General is like combining hollow technique, Divergent and the 8-handled sword of Maharaga, with the sword, similar to the one-sword style, Azure Dragon. Its power is not difficult to imagine. Huff, huff. In an icy pit, a figure engulfed in blue phoenix flames was breathing heavily. Under the giant phoenix wings was the battered Vista. Both Marco and Vista were covered in lingering purple energy. The incredibly vicious cursed power was tearing at their bodies. The cursed king's power, boosted by a natural fighter, was relentlessly chipping away at their resolve. The wounds are healing too slowly. Damn. His power is too tricky. Sweat poured down Marco's forehead. To protect Vista, he'd taken the brunt of the unlimited hollow purple attack. Vista sadly looked at the two swords in his hands, as if bidding farewell to old friends. The blades that had served him in countless battles in the New World were now coated in purple energy. They were damaged beyond repair, and would break apart after a few more uses. But our attack landed. That guy has to be dead. Vista's expression froze. As the purple light dissipated, a familiar black-haired figure emerged. Ah, what a great battle, Kurosawa grinned. The wounds he sustained from Marco and Vista had healed thanks to his LV5 reversal technique. Aside from some rips in his navy uniform, he looked perfectly fine. Marco's eyes twitched. That's impossible, Vista roared, his voice trembling. You should be dead. You took our strongest attacks. How are you standing there unharmed? Kurosawa didn't explain. They'd never understand. Unlike the divergent technique, his unlimited hollow purple didn't harm him. So, even at the epicenter of the explosion, he wouldn't accidentally hurt himself. His clothes were only torn because of Marco and Vista's attacks. In fact, unlimited hollow purple had largely offset their attacks. With the LV5 unlimited technique, the damage arrived slowly, combined with the strength from his LV5 armament Hawkeye and LV5 taijutsu. Their attacks couldn't instantly kill Kurosawa anymore. He then used his LV5 reversal technique to heal himself, thanks to the immense cursed energy from his LV4 Six Eyes, spiritual blessing, and the Hawkeye reserves from his LV4 domineering Hawkeye. Kurosawa was still at peak fighting condition. Marines on the battlefield stared in shock, some surprised, others resentful. Miguel looked at the spirited figure, admiration pouring from his eyes like a waterfall. You truly are the strongest, boss. Amazing kid, he survived that without a scratch. Vice Admiral Enigmo couldn't hide his smile. I'm not sure what happened, but compared to the Whitebeard commanders, Kurosawa looks like he's still ready for a fight. In other words, this duel. Kurosawa won. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The words hit like a judge's gavel, final and absolute. Did Kurosawa win? Kurosawa is the victor. A wave of joy erupted from the Navy ranks. He'd taken down 2 captains in a 2-on-1 fight. This guy, with power rivaling an admiral, was their Navy's rising star. Even the detached world government elders in Marihoa had to admit, if Kurosawa, not Rob Lucci, had joined the Marines, everyone at sea would think twice before crossing us. On a giant tree in the Sabaody archipelago, Rayleigh, the pirate king's former right-hand man, stated plainly, if Kurosawa had been around instead of Garp back in the day, Roger might never have made it to Laugh Tale, the final island. On the execution platform, Sengoku couldn't help but chuckle. Whitebeard, did you really think you could win this war? Ace was stunned. Marco and Vista, they actually lost. Garp's grim expression cracked into a tearful grin. Heh heh heh. Kid, you're doing great. Moria was speechless. Kishishishi, Bagana. Fufufu. Impressive. Doflamingo laughed, subtly tightening his grip on Moria with his strings. Mihawk offered a rare smile. Well done, Kurosawa. You've earned your place among the world's strongest. He's still alive. That guy. Boa Hancock's pupils contracted. He'd escaped certain death, just like Luffy. While the Navy celebrated, the pirates were deflated. Whitebeard's eyes burned with fury. That kid, facing Marco and Vista together, and still pulled this off. Hey, Pops, can't let your guard down. A voice cut through the air beside Whitebeard, followed by a bone-chilling cold that sent a jolt of alarm through him. This voice belonged to someone who could genuinely threaten his life. His mind raced. Whitebeard sucked in a breath and forced his already overtaxed body to push even harder, but the biting cold wasn't just a feeling, it was absolute zero. Ice Age. Puff. Kazan exhaled a blast of icy air, and a wave of ice-blue light surged from his hand, instantly engulfing Whitebeard. A thick layer of frost coated his body from the waist down. Whitebeard strained to move his upper body, but the encroaching ice suppressed his strength, negating his desperate attempt. The next second, Whitebeard's enraged eyes widened as he was completely encased in ice. Admiral Kazan. Dad, the Navy gasped in surprise, while the pirates cried out in terror. First Kurosawa defeats Marco and Vista, and now Kazan freezes Whitebeard solid. The tide of this war, it might be turning right here and now. Marco and Vista panicked. Ignoring their injuries, they struggled to reach Whitebeard, but a figure blocked their path. Kurosawa, wielding darkness, radiated a chilling aura. His blue eyes blazed with excitement. Whitebeard, frozen. A juicy 500,000-point reward. A defeated army trying to rescue someone. Kurosawa smirked. His enhanced observation skills were pushed to the limit, analyzing every detail of the rapidly shifting battlefield to ensure his plan went off without a hitch. Around the world, people stared at their screens, afraid to blink, even forgetting to breathe. Rayleigh's face was grim. Whitebeard, is this how it ends? On the execution platform, Sengoku was ecstatic to see Whitebeard frozen. Bartholomew Kuma's interference and Borsellino's reinforcements had weakened Whitebeard, giving Kazan the opening he needed. Now. Finish off Whitebeard. Ace roared, bloodshot eyes filled with despair. Dad, to end this, against Whitebeard, the legendary Emperor of the Sea, Kazan was going all out. Ice Saber. An intensely cold blade materialized in his hand, its chilling aura capable of slicing through even the strongest armament Hawkeye defenses. Kazan moved with blinding speed, Ice Saber poised to strike the frozen Whitebeard. Diamond Jozu. Boom, ugh, before the world could react, a diamond-encrusted figure slammed into Kazan, the sheer force creating ripples in the air. Kazan's attack was interrupted, blood splattering from his mouth. Even the Ice Saber shattered. Damn asterisk, Kazan thought. I took a gamble trying to kill Whitebeard before Jozu could react, but I failed. Jozu was faster than I expected. Captain Jozu. The pirates cheered, relieved that Jozu had intervened. That bastard. Sengoku cursed under his breath, bitterly regretting the missed opportunity. No. There's still a chance. Crack. Crack, the Whitebeard ice sculpture started to spiderweb with cracks from the inside, on the verge of shattering. Then, a red glow pulsed from within the ice. Jozu tensed, moving to stop Whitebeard, but a voice froze him in his tracks. Reciprocity. Kazan, recovered from the blow, appeared beside Jozu, freezing him solid with a flash of ice. Captain Jozu. What's happening? Boom boom boom. Boom, red energy surged beneath the ice, causing the ground to shake. With a deafening roar, Whitebeard's power shattered the ice, and he broke free. Boom, Whitebeard's eyes blazed as he emerged, milky white shockwaves gathering in his hand. But as he burst free, a terrifying magma fist erupted from below the ice. The extreme heat instantly melted the surrounding ice, and even Whitebeard's body, still chilled from the ice, was slick with sweat. Hellhound. The next moment, red consumed Whitebeard's vision as a wave of molten lava pierced straight through his chest. The world went silent, except for the gleam of excitement in Kurosawa's eyes. Bang! The force ripped through Whitebeard's chest, so intense that Sakazuki was forced to one knee. Sakazuki spoke, his voice low and dangerous. Whitebeard. The lines around his eyes deepened, but they couldn't hide the predatory grin on his face. Now, who's the challenger? That I'm about to harvest my family. Please give me some good reviews and free electricity to encourage the author. Thank you. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Blood sprayed everywhere. Ugh. Gurgle, gurgle, a terrifying red inferno erupted in Whitebeard's chest, the scorching heat instantly searing his entire body. Only his powerful haki, which mitigated the damage to his vital organs, prevented him from being instantly killed. Well done, Admiral Sakazuki. Whitebeard Pirates. Welcome to your doom. On the execution platform, Sengoku was overjoyed. He also noticed the arrival of the pacifistas. Excellent, finish them off in one fell swoop and wipe out the main force of the Whitebeard Pirates. Ace, standing nearby, looked horrified, his lips trembling. No way. Pops. You're the strongest. Pops. That magma bastard. Amid the pirates' angry and fearful cries, the air was pierced by a series of sounds. Swish. Swish, swish, swish. In the distance, a massive wave of lasers fired from the pacifistas' mouths, creating an overwhelming net of fire that rained down on the pirates. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Many pirates were engulfed by the lasers before they could even react. Ah! Screams echoed and were quickly swallowed by the explosions, with their leader critically wounded and now ambushed by the Navy's pacifistas. The Whitebeard Pirates' morale plummeted. Across the battlefield, Marco, engulfed in blue flames, unleashed incredible speed and strength, forcing Kurosawa back. Pops. You damn bastard, get out of my way. Marco kicked out again, the force amplified by high-level armament haki, shattering the ice into massive craters and cracks. You seem a little anxious. Kurosawa smiled at Marco's relentless attacks, easily dodging each blow. Thanks to his upgraded level 4 Six Eyes, few on the battlefield could match his speed. With the Six Eyes' heightened perception, no one could touch him if he didn't want them to, but he needed to create openings to lure his prey. The Six Eyes' perception acted like a massive radar, its energy focused on Whitebeard's location under Kurosawa's control. As expected, Sakazuki's attack had taken a terrible toll on Whitebeard's already failing body, rapidly deteriorating his health and vitality. Even in this state, Whitebeard still possessed a terrifying counterattack. Boom! A flash of red, and another instant reversal spell colliding with Marco's blue flame claws, creating a massive shockwave that buffeted Kurosawa's cloak. Kurosawa remained calm, using the opportunity to assess Vista and Blamenko, a slight smile forming on his lips. Perfect, I'll take you out first, then lay low for a while. Huff, huff, huff. Pops. Vista panted, looking deeply worried, after taking a magma punch like that from Sakazuki, Pop's body. Gurgle, gurgle. Red energy continued to surge. Sakazuki looked at his work with satisfaction. His observation haki was keen, and he could sense Whitebeard's power rapidly fading, his vitality almost extinguished by the blow. Victory was within reach. Sakazuki, covered in blood, smiled. He was closest to Whitebeard when he unleashed his attack, and even with his strong physique, he almost lost consciousness. He had reacted quickly, finding cover under the ice. Still, his body suffered significant damage, preventing him from operating at his peak. Otherwise, that punch would have killed Whitebeard instantly. But one more punch would achieve the same result. Die, Whitebeard. Sakazuki's magma energy raged, and at full power, the red energy surged within him, ready to deliver the final blow. But then, Sakazuki's observation haki detected something impossible. Whitebeard's vital signs were miraculously recovering. This can't be happening. Sakazuki was shocked and moved to speed up his attack, but Whitebeard's dilated pupils had regained their focus, and a massive hand loomed before him. Hoo, swish. The milky white light crashed down on Sakazuki's head, cracks rapidly spread from Whitebeard's fist, engulfing Sakazuki's entire body. Boom boom boom, space itself twisted, visibly distorted. To the horror of everyone, Whitebeard, who was supposed to be on his deathbed, unleashed another devastating blow. Sakazuki, Kazan's face was grim, his entire body encased in ice. He shot towards Whitebeard like a streak of blue light, a wave of intense cold spreading before him, the next second. Boom, the historic Marine headquarters shook violently once again. The land of Marineford trembled because of that man. Almost simultaneously, outside Marineford, someone noticed something odd on the violently undulating sea. Look at the sky. What is that? A ship, a massive warship, propelled by Jinbe's currents, plunged straight into the heart of the battlefield with the force of an arrow. Boom, after Whitebeard's counterattack, the Straw Hat crew arrived ahead of schedule. Boom boom boom, the shockwave threw Luffy and his crew off their feet. Kurosawa frowned. What's going on? According to the original timeline, the Straw Hats shouldn't arrive for another hour, right? Then it hit him. The fluctuations in the world's natural order must have affected the timing. Whatever, it doesn't matter, Whitebeard is severely injured, and the time for harvest has come. Kurosawa looked at the three figures before him and smiled. Flamenco, he's still smiling when he's about to die. His power must be nearly exhausted. Hit him with everything you've got, kill him, and then rescue Pops. Through Kurosawa's constant dodging and occasional attacks, Marco had concluded that he was weakened. Speaking, Marco transformed into a blue fireball and spun toward Kurosawa. This time, he would kill him. With Pop's counterattack and Kurosawa's death, the Navy's advantage would be reversed. Blue Flame Goose. Vista unleashed a powerful sword technique, flying low to the ground and slashing at Kurosawa. The sharp rose petals of his attack pierced Kurosawa's unlimited spell range. Above Marco and Vista, a large figure raised a massive hammer and swung it down. It's all your fault, bastard. Just die. Seeing the three charging towards him, Kurosawa had made his decision. He wrapped a wisp of dark curse power around the dark blade in his hand, and his mouth opened and closed. Secret. Open. Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The unholy flames from some other dimension writhed on darkness, like long-lost demons celebrating their escape into the human world, greedily sucking in its air, burning brighter with each ecstatic breath. Everyone on the battlefield instantly felt a shift, especially Marco. Kurosawa now felt like a butcher from hell, eyeing them as lambs for the slaughter. Flames. Vista's eyes narrowed, but unlike the high-temperature flames of typical sword energy, the flames coating Kurosawa's blade felt fundamentally different. It wasn't just a flame, but a malevolent, murderous force that only looked like one. Even without being touched, the dark flames on the blade inspired an unnatural sense of dread. No matter how many tricks you got, you reached your limit. Damn Marine, eat this. As the three commanders launched their attacks, Kurosawa's gaze turned wild, and darkness swept out in a vicious arc. Boom. Instantly, the dark red markings on darkness seemed to come alive, morphing into a swirling vortex of dark flames that surrounded Kurosawa and erupted behind him like a furious serpent. Marco and the other two were instantly blinded by the dark red light, overwhelmed as if being swallowed whole. Kurosawa, channeling his LV-4 Six Eyes, tapped into both LV-5 armament Hawkeye and swordsmanship, and further amplified the power of that combo through the secrets of awakening. It was a devastating attack. This is it. Within the swirling crimson inferno, the cursed energy tore at Marco's wings. With Marco taking the brunt of the assault, Vista managed to stay unharmed a little longer by using his rose sword energy. The third commander wasn't so fortunate. Bremank, lacking Marco and Vista's speed and Hawkeye, had even fewer options against this cursed onslaught. Faced with this overwhelming attack, Bremank frantically swung his giant hammer, creating a protective whirlwind, while dark cracks spread across his body. He was using his pouch fruit ability, turning his body into a kind of pocket, sacrificing storage in order to absorb some of the attack. However, the damage absorption was finite and Kurosawa's attack went way beyond the limit of Bremank's power. Clang! A dark red slash slammed into Bremank's hammer shield, sending tremors up his arms, followed by a cascade of cursed blows. The shield wasn't enough. The wooden hammer splintered, exploding like a burning tree, and Bremank coughed up blood. Defenseless, he watched in horror as the dark red fire serpent lunged at him, fangs bared for the kill, and sinking its teeth into his chest. Shkk, ag. The slash ripped open his flesh, but the cursed energy was worse, twisting into flames. The amplified pain of the Cursed King made Bremank's eyes roll back. His body pockets could have withstood 2 more attacks from the cursed fire snakes, but after losing consciousness, he was ripped apart instantly. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing Bremank. Obtained a bounty of 67,800 billion points. Within the dark red flames, countless sword strikes imbued with cursed power hammered at Marco, trapping him like a firebird trapped in a burning cage. The architect of this carnage, Kurosawa, hearing the pleasant voice in his mind, smirked. Boom! Vista appeared in front of Kurosawa. Thanks to Marco's sacrifice and drawing all of the attention, he'd finally broken through the blockade. Vista was shaken to his core. The Marine's techniques were simply bizarre, each one unbelievably destructive, and his stamina seemed limitless. From start to finish, his combat strength has remained at an all-time high level. He was a monster among monsters. Vista would rather face an admiral than go up against Kurosawa again. Marco was thinking the same thing. The strange energy didn't just slow his regeneration, it inflicted excruciating pain. Every battle he had ever fought pales in comparison to what he felt when fighting Kurosawa. Clang! The 2 blades met darkness, the rose sword energy tearing Kurosawa's clothes to shreds, flinging droplets of blood into the air. For the first time, Vista smiled. At the same time, Marco, transformed into a phoenix, slammed into Kurosawa with a claw wreathed in force. It's over. Driven back by Marco and Vista, Kurosawa crashed down into the ice, the raw force racking his body. He smashed through layers and layers of ice and plunged into the sea, back on the battlefield at Marineford. Admiral Sakazuki. That damn Whitebeard got shot through the chest, yet he still has that much power. What about Kurosawa? The dark red flames died down, and the picture everyone had imagined, Kurosawa standing tall, didn't come. Marco and Vista stood panting on the remaining ice. Impossible. Could it be that Kurosawa? Under the anxious gazes of the Marines, Marco grit his teeth against the pain and announced, with as much calm as he could muster. Yes, Kurosawa is dead, I killed him. Colonel Kurosawa is dead? No way. Many of the Marines couldn't believe it. Whitebeard had fought back and seriously injured an admiral, and the commanders had taken down Kurosawa. The Navy's confidence began to crumble, and morale plummeted. The tremors slowly faded, and Whitebeard chuckled in Marco's direction. Gurara, well done. On the execution platform, Sengoku's face was a mask of fury. How could this happen? Whitebeard had been critically wounded, and Kurosawa was holding down the commanders. The pacifistas had arrived, everything was going in the Navy's favor. How could it all have turned around so quickly? And how did that grandson of Garp get here? He was accompanied by 2 warlords. Damn it. Then, the Straw Hat Rescue Squad began to move. Boosted by this new force, the ordinary pirates, who were about to be annihilated by the pacifistas, finally found the strength to fight back. Whitebeard's fleet arrived and began to unload troops. Straw Hat Luffy emerged on this ultimate battlefield, riding his protagonist's luck, and with the help of unexpected allies, wreaked havoc on the Navy. Boa Hancock, hands to her cheeks, looked at Luffy with eyes full of love. He's so Luffy. Whitebeard gasped for air, watching Luffy break through the lines that even he couldn't breach. Getting closer and closer to the execution platform, he made his decision. Listen up. This is a captain's order. Cover Straw Hat Luffy, and rescue Ace. After a stunned silence, the pirates roared their approval. It wasn't just Luffy shouting, I'm Ace's little brother. The commanders had also seen Luffy's incredible potential, and they rallied to protect him as he stormed the execution platform. That old man is half dead and can't save his son himself, so he pins his hopes on others. Sakazuki walked forward, red magma flowing from his blood-soaked body. Marco grinned, turned into green fire, and kicked Sakazuki. Don't interfere with family business, Sakazuki laughed. Am I wrong? Remnants of a dying era. The age of pirates ends here. Boom. The red magma slammed into Marco, but the latter did not retreat. Whitebeard's eyes gleamed. Feeling his life force fading, his eyes hardened with resolve, and he roared to the entire world. One Piece. It's real. The next instant, dark red lightning flashed across the sky, and a figure plummeted toward the ground at impossible speed. Blue pupils flashed with divine light, and Kurosawa swung darkness. Clang! A dark red explosion. The Conqueror's Hawkeye swept the entire battlefield. Under the shocked gazes of everyone watching, the sky cracked. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. *ding. Congrats, host, for successfully using Overlord Hawkeye entanglement for the first time. Reward, Dark and Divine Avoidance, LV1, star. Did Whitebeard just say One Piece is real? Doesn't matter. Look up. What the heck is that? Whitebeard, expecting the world to be in shock after his declaration, was the first to notice something amiss. He snapped his head skyward. An overwhelming Hawkeye, solidifying into black lightning, snaked around the blade of darkness like a living storm. Kurosawa's blue eyes blazed like a descending war god. The air warped and shimmered wherever the blade cut. The dark red overlord's blade, a thunderous viper, coiled and struck, almost forming a black hole capable of swallowing everything. In a heartbeat, he was right above Whitebeard. Darkness, God repel. This is. Whitebeard stared up at the descending devastation, the exploding black lightning, and his mind flashed back decades, to a battlefield. Back then, Roger used a technique called divine evasion. The power, it's identical to Roger's, but this is even more intense. The thought jolted Whitebeard. But instead of fear, his blood ignited. This feeling. Gururara, the long-dormant Hawkeye of a king. Pressured by the unrivaled, domineering aura that loomed over the world, Whitebeard's fighting spirit roared back to life. Even in his aged, damaged state, he tasted a flicker of his former glory. Boy! His towering frame strained with bulging muscles, crackling with black lightning. The ground beneath his feet fractured into a spiderweb of cracks, unable to contain the sudden surge of power. Whitebeard grinned, focusing immense force, and swung through the air at Kurosawa. Buzz! The dark, flame-wreathed blade collided with Kurosawa's in midair. At the epicenter, their peak Hawkeye, Kurosawa's and Whitebeard's, clashed. Instantly, countless bolts of black lightning blasted outwards. The destructive energy practically crushed and annihilated the air, creating a vacuum. The king's Hawkeye radiated outwards, and swaths of marines and pirates crumpled, unable to withstand the power. They were knocked unconscious and no longer able to watch the top-level power showdown. The Den Mushi's real-time projection cut out. On the execution platform, Sengoku's face displayed a mix of shock and relief. The dark red lightning reflected off his face. The kid's not dead. But that's Hawkeye entanglement. This powerful. What the hell are you doing, brat? Garp gaped, mirroring his reaction to Luffy's sudden arrival. Kurosawa's stance, the power of the impact, it was just like Roger back in the day. But, even compared to Roger at his peak, his skill seems superior to Kurosawa. Garp had chased Roger across the seas. He knew Roger's moves intimately. His words carried weight. Ace and the Whitebeard Pirates captains were struck speechless. Some of the captains couldn't help but recall the day Shanks, another emperor of the sea, met his father. That clash had split the sky. A bead of sweat trickled down Marco's temple. He muttered, "He's not dead. We saw him blasted into the sea." "How?" "That's the marine who hurt my friends." Straw Hat Luffy stared at the black-haired figure. A memory flashed, being slammed to the ground by a punch. Whoa, that's a strong force. Even from a distance, Luffy could feel the raw power of that attack. If that move had been used on him, he would have died. Did he do that on purpose? The thought wormed its way into Luffy's mind. Knowing Kurosawa's current strength, crushing the Straw Hat Pirates back in Sabaody would have been a cakewalk. Gururara. Boy. Are you ready to face me? Terrifying power pulsed outwards. The black lightning spiraled above Whitebeard's head, forming a massive, menacing black hole that battered his defenses. But Whitebeard roared with laughter. Even as Kurosawa's overwhelming power tore through his guard and pierced his body, he refused to yield. The old era, half buried, ends here today. The new world has no ship to carry you. Kurosawa's hands throbbed. He couldn't help but think that even as a cripple, Whitebeard's power was unbelievable. If Marco and others had to face his move, they would definitely be able to tear down the opponent's defense directly from the front. How could he have the energy to talk back to himself here? Gururara. No ship for me in the new era? This old geezer can still fight. Whitebeard's laughter boomed. The power struggle between them had reached its crescendo. A brilliant boy, even Roger back then was not as terrible as you. As long as you are here, the era of pirates will never come. Whitebeard muttered to himself, and a dangerous aura enveloped Kurosawa. On the execution platform, Sengoku flinched. He grabbed the Den Mushi. All troops, shield Kurosawa at all costs. If you die, Sengoku will have a headache. Whitebeard grinned. Despite the blood trickling from his mouth, he retained his regal bearing. Nobody in this world can kill me, especially not you. You're already dying. Kurosawa smiled cruelly. He was even more shocked by the confidence and calmness in Kurosawa's eyebrows while speaking, as if he was born with it, stating an ordinary thing, buzz buzz buzz, star. At the climax of Whitebeard and Kurosawa's battle, the earth-shattering energy imploded into the epicenter of their clash, then erupted. The entire Marineford battlefield buckled and twisted. Overwhelmed by the explosion, only Whitebeard faintly heard one last thing. Domain, infinite space.